Are you struggling selling your digital products on Etsy? It can be so frustrating spending time and effort creating an amazing digital product only for it to be stuck on a virtual shelf. Well, in today's video, we're going to go over the top 3 reasons why your digital products are not selling, and more importantly, how we can fix this. So stay tuned and learn how to turn your digital products into a successful Etsy business. If we haven't met yet, hi, my name is Shannon. I'm an Etsy seller, coach, and Canva expert, and my goal is to help you create your own Etsy digital product business so that you can create a second stream of income, have financial security, and spend more time doing the things that you love. So in this video, we're going to go over the top 3 reasons why your digital products may not be selling on Etsy. And before we begin, I wanted to let you know that I do have a free Etsy do's and don'ts guide that I have listed in the description below that goes over the 5 biggest mistakes that most new Etsy sellers make and how they can fix them. So if you're interested in that, check it out below. And without further ado, let's start with the first reason why your digital products may not be selling well on Etsy. So number 1, the first reason is low visibility. Having high visibility is so important in order to get good sales on your digital products. Because let's think about this. If people are not seeing your products, then there's no way for them to know about them. And if they don't know about your products, how can they buy them? So it's very important that we take steps in order to increase our visibility. So what are some of the ways that we can track to see if our shop and our products are visible? Well, one of the best ways that we can do this directly in our Etsy shop is by looking at our shop views and our visits. So what are views? Views are when your product is being shown in the Etsy marketplace and someone makes a search and your product shows up. So they may be scrolling through a list of 100 other products that are similar, that are falling within their search, and they see your product while they're scrolling through. So obviously not everyone who sees your product is actually going to click on your product. So the second statistic that you can check is your visits. So this is when people are actually clicking on your product and looking at it. So usually you'll notice that you have much higher views than you do visits, but this is a natural thing that's going to occur. People are not always going to click on your products even though they see them, because your product is not always going to be what they're looking for, and that's okay. In order to actually see what I'm talking about, I'm going to show you the stats overview for one of my Etsy shops. And we can see right here, total views, visits, orders, and revenue. Etsy has a lot of amazing statistics that help us really understand what's going on in our shop. So in this shop, I have selected the last 30 days. You can also look at 7 days, today, yesterday, this year, and so on. So if we want to have the most accurate understanding of our shop, it's good to stick with 30 days. So let's look at our total views. So for this shop, I have 3,436 views. So this means that my products in this shop have been seen 3,436 times. They have shown up in people's searches. Now, this is really helpful because this helps me know that people are seeing my products. And this helps me also know that my SEO is good. If you are not familiar with SEO, we'll go over it a little bit more in this video, but basically this is your search engine optimization. So SEO is something that we need to focus on in order to make sure that our products are actually showing up to the people that we want them to. So by looking at my total views of this shop, I know that my SEO is doing well and that people are actually seeing my product. If you're wondering what this is right here, this is comparing the shop from this time last year. So this shop has seen a 408% growth since last year, which is great. Now, the next thing that we can look at is visits. So like I said, views and visits are not going to be the same because visits are when people actually click on the product to look at it. So we can see that, this is just a kind of an estimate here, but about 1/3 of the people who have seen my products have actually clicked on it, which is actually very good. And then, of course, we have our orders and revenue. So, all of these statistics are really helpful in helping you understand how your shop visibility is. Again, we really want to focus on views because views show us that people are actually seeing our products. Now, a problem that you need to make sure that you're looking out for is if you have decent views but you have low visits. This means that there is something else that's going on. This means that your products are showing up and people are seeing them, but they're not clicking them. And this is going to lead into the second reason why people are not buying your digital products. So now we know that in order to make sales, it's very important to focus on the visibility of our products by really focusing in on our SEO and doing some outside marketing. So in order to make sure that you have good SEO for your product listings, I need you to focus on 3 things. First, you need to make sure that you're using optimized keywords. Keywords are the phrases that people are typing in when they're searching for a product. So you want to do your best to make sure that you have optimized keywords that are matching what your customers are looking for. This tells Etsy that your product is what they want. So you're more likely to be higher ranked because Etsy thinks that your product is more likely to be purchased. So it's very important to make sure that you're focusing on using good keywords in order to optimize your product listings. Once you have good keywords, you need to put them in your title, your description, and in your tags. And they need to match in all 3. This is going to help ensure that you have good, strong SEO, which will in turn increase your visibility and your sales. But what we talked about before, what happens when you do have good views, which means that you most likely have good SEO, but you're not getting visits on your products, which means that people are not clicking. So there could be 2 reasons that are causing people not to click your product. So this is going to lead us into the second reason that your digital products are not selling, and that is your images, your product photography, or your digital product mock-ups. When selling digital products, it's very crucial that you have good photos for your product listings. It's important to remember that shopping online is very different than shopping in person. For example, when you go to Target and you're looking at something that you might be interested in buying, what do? You touch it, you pick it up, you look at it, you think, would this fit well here in this space in my house? Or do I like the color, the texture? So when you're shopping in person, you're able to really experience the product before you buy it. However, when you're selling digital products, you don't have that same luxury. So you need to have photos that really help the buyer understand what it is that you're selling. So some good things that you could use for your product photos could be dimensions of your product. So for example, if you're selling a printable download that is meant to be printed on 5x7 paper, 5x7 inch paper, then make sure you say that, because if your customer tries to print it on a different size paper, they may have a problem. So this is something that would be good for them to know. It's also great to have lifestyle photos. So these are photos that show how your product can be used in real life. Again, this is just another way to help your customers really understand your product and really get a good sense for what it's used for. So for example, one of my best-selling products in one of my shops is something that people often buy for party gifts. And in one of my photos, I show a photo of my product with a little ribbon around it, and I say, this is great for gifting to this person. So even though it's a digital product, it still helps the buyer know that this is something that they can purchase, print out, and gift it to the person that they're buying it for. So now you might be thinking, well, how do I create photos for digital products? Well, there's 2 ways to go about this. The first way is to actually print the product that you're selling and take photos of the product and create those lifestyle photos and show your product in its physical form. Another way that you can do it is to create product mock-ups. So you can do this by using a software like Canva, which is what I use, in order to simulate what your product would look like if it were printed. So in my shops, I have mock-up photos of my digital products. I don't actually print mine. I create mock-up photos that look like they're printed in order for my customers to still get that same feeling of what the product actually is like, but I do it in Canva. Canva is a great software that you can use not only to make your digital products, but to create your digital product mock-ups. It's really important that the first picture, which is the thumbnail that people are going to see when they're scrolling, is a really good representation of your product. It should be something that's visually appealing and something that's going to make the customer stop, look at it, and then want to click it. So my recommendation is to look at best-selling products that are similar to the one that you're selling and kind of see how those sellers are creating their mock-ups or taking their photos. Obviously don't copy them, but use it as an inspiration to kind of understand what more seasoned or more professional sellers are doing. And this will kind of help you understand what works and what doesn't. Another thing that you can do is to copy a listing that's not selling or one that you think that you need to improve the photography or the mock-ups on, and copy that listing and create 2 different thumbnail photos. And by doing this, you can compare and see if one starts to sell better than the other. Of course, this is going to take some time. It's not something that you're going to immediately see the difference, because it will take some time for those products to show up and for people to see them and for one to maybe be an obvious winner over the other. But by doing this type of A/B testing, it will give you a better understanding if one mock-up style is better than another and which one your customers may like more. All right, so now that you know that you need to focus on increasing your product visibility, your shop visibility, you know that you need to focus on having great high quality product photos or product mock-ups, let's move on to the third reason why you may not be making sales on your digital products. And this reason is your pricing. Having good prices is a really good way to make sure that you are attracting potential customers and actually getting them to purchase your product. Now, a common mistake that a lot of new sellers make, myself included, is selling your products for way too low. So when I started selling on Etsy, I really had no idea what I was doing. It was kind of the wild, wild west. I was trying everything. And my products were not selling, and so I just started lowering my prices. So one of the first things that I sold was bilingual worksheets, because I have a background in education. I live in Spain, I'm from the US, and that was something that I wanted to sell. So I was selling these bilingual worksheets. I don't even remember what the price was. So let's say I was charging, I don't remember, like $5 for one of these, and they weren't selling. So then I started lowering my price to $3, to $2, to $1. And if you haven't started selling on Etsy, you may not know that there are some fees that come with listing your products. There aren't too many fees. Etsy has a lot better fee rates. They do charge, for example, 20 cents every time that you list a new product. And I got to the point where I was literally trying to sell my worksheets for 20 cents. So basically, I was willing to give away my products for free because I was trying to get sales. The problem is that this still didn't work. And one of the reasons for this is that people tend to get a bit suspicious when prices are too low on a product, because they think, well, why is it so cheap? And they don't trust you, or they think that the product isn't good. So for example, if you're looking at a product that is $5 versus 20 cents, most buyers are going to be inclined to spend a few more extra dollars on a product that they think may have a higher value and is more trustworthy. Because if you see a product for 20 cents, 50 cents, you may think, well, why are they selling it so cheap? What's up with that? And it may just be that the seller is new and they want to make sales, but the buyer is not necessarily thinking about that. And so they're going to shy away from those types of really low priced products. On the other hand, if you're not doing any research about the products that you're selling, maybe your price point is way too high and you're trying to sell something for $15, $20 that the average seller is only charging maybe $7 or $8. So you need to make sure that you're doing some research on what the highest prices are and what the lowest prices are, and kind of try to go somewhere in the middle. And this is a good technique to do at first, just so that you are making sure that you're not kind of shocking customers in either extreme of too expensive or too low. Obviously, as your shop grows and maybe you gain more authority as a seller, you have more reviews, you have more purchases, then you can start to charge higher prices because customers will see that you have 1,000 5-star reviews for this product. And even though maybe it's a couple dollars more than the average price, they know that this is a trusted product from a trusted seller, so they're more likely to spend that money. But as a new seller, if you don't have a lot of sales yet, I would suggest you trying to find kind of that middle ground in the pricing. I know it seems like the best thing to do is to lower your prices because who doesn't want cheaper stuff? But I promise you that this is going to lower the perceived value of your product, and people are going to be a little suspicious of your shop and of your products, especially if you don't have a lot of sales. And that's it. Those are the top 3 reasons why you may not be selling digital products on Etsy as a new seller. So make sure that you're focusing on having good SEO in order to improve your visibility. You want to make sure that you have high quality product photos and mock-ups, and you want to make sure that your pricing is on point. Obviously, these are things that sometimes can be a bit of trial and error. So have some patience and know that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. In order to build a sustainable business that allows you to have passive or low-maintenance income, it does require some work at first in order to be able to build that business and to get the ball rolling. I'm here to go along this journey with you to help give you advice, tips and tricks, and all the best practices in order to make sure that you are building a successful and profitable digital product business. Don't forget that I do have a free do's and don'ts guide in the description below that goes over the 5 biggest mistakes that new Etsy sellers make, and of course, how we can go about fixing them. So if you'd like that, just look in the description below. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Happy selling.